Hi everyone, it's Alicia Morrow with Radiant Possibilities. We're going to make a massaged kale salad today, and we're going to top that with some tomatoes, garlic, and capers. It's going to be a delicious Mediterranean flavored salad. So let's get started. Let me show you what we're going to do here today. I've got here some dinosaur kale. There's curly kale, there's purple kale. You can use any kind of kale that you want, but this is the kind that we're going to be using here today. And as you can see, we're only going to use this leafy part. I don't want to use this really thick stem. It's a little bit too woody and hard to chew when it's raw. So I'm going to show you a really quick and easy technique to get this leafy part off of this stem. I'm just going to take the kale and I'm going to begin to peel the leafy part away from the stem. And I'm going to take my index finger and my thumb and I'm just going to slide them along the stem like this and strip that stem right off of there. Let's do that again. Let me show you. So we're just going to peel that right off. I'm going to do this with a few stems. It's really a pretty easy process. And what I like to do is I like to save all of these stems. This will be a great addition to a green juice tomorrow morning. Most of the water in leafy greens is in the stem, so I'm going to get a lot of juice out of these guys. It's a way to get a double use out of your leafy greens. So what I want to do next is I want to take this and I want to get it into bite-sized bits. So I'm going to take my kale and I'm going to stack it like this with the largest leaf on the bottom. And I'm going to take these kind of loose floppy ends here and I'm going to fold them and I'm going to roll the kale like a yoga mat. A little bit of a stem here still. I'm just going to pull that right off. So I got my little yoga mat here and I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to cut just thin ribbons. So I got my fingers tucked so I'm not going to get any finger in my kale salad. And we're going to slice it thinly like this. And what I get out of this, I get these long, thin ribbons. So I'm going to give this one slice so that my ribbons aren't too long. And I'm going to add this to a bowl that I've kind of pre-prepared here. So what I have here is this is 2 heads of kale that I've got in this bowl. And this is the massaging part of the dish. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a little bit of high mineral salt. Add just a little bit more here. And I'm going to add some lemon juice to this. A couple tablespoons. What the lemon juice and the salt are going to do is they're going to begin to break down and soften this kale. It's going to take on a sautéed or a cooked texture to it. And it's gonna have a cooked feel when you're eating it. It's gonna be like sautéed kale rather than raw kale, which can be a little bit kind of chewy and woody. So I'm really just taking this kale and I'm massaging it. I'm helping it relax. Oh, kale, you're so tense. So I'm just gonna do this until it begins to break down and soften. As I'm doing this, I just want to talk to you for a minute about why this is such a great recipe, why leafy greens are so great for us. Leafy greens are really high in magnesium and calcium, iron, and chlorophyll. Chlorophyll essentially is liquid sunshine. So when you're eating leafy greens, you're getting a whole spectrum of health benefits. And it's literally like you're taking sunlight and bathing your cells and your organs with that sunlight. Really an awesome food. The thing for most people, myself included, is that leafy greens, they've got this like negative childhood memory association. You think about all the times you went to your aunt's house or your grandmother's house and you got served just these, awful tasting wilted greens. So every time you look at greens, you may think like, ugh, no, I don't want to eat those. But there's really some very delicious ways to prepare them. I think you're really going to love this one. So, let me show you what this looks like now. Can you see how this is all broken down? It looks like it's been cooked. The acid from the lemon juice and the salt have broken down the cell walls of that kale, and it's taken on this really great texture. So let's do the next part here. This is ready to be added, to add some flavoring to it. So we're gonna make this taste really delicious. What I've done is I've diced up 3 tomatoes to just a nice little dice like this. And I'm gonna add some olive oil. I'm gonna add probably about 3 tablespoons. And I'm gonna add some capers. I love capers. I think they add a really great fun flavor to food. My husband hates olives. You could also add olives to this if you've got an olive lover in your house. In my house we do capers. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some garlic. I'm not a big fan of chunks of garlic in my food, especially when it's raw garlic. So I'm gonna use a microplane, and we're just gonna take this garlic. I'm going to put the microplane right on the bowl here so that it's right and stays in place, and I'm going to take this little piece of garlic, and this is going to kind of puree that garlic. It's going to make it into a really fine texture, so I'm not going to bite into a chunk of garlic. It's going to kind of get blended throughout the tomato mixture. We're going to do 2 cloves of garlic. Really quick and easy to do. And oftentimes when I'm in the kitchen, I just like to get my hands in the food. So you can do this with a spoon or a spatula. I'm just going to put my hands right in there, and I'm just going to mix this really well. I'm going to get that garlic, and I'm going to get the capers all mixed in there together, the olive oil. This is a really great Mediterranean-inspired dish. So you can see that's all mixed up, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to toss it right into my dish with the kale, and we're just going to toss this all together. Beautiful. It's a really, got reds and greens in here. It smells fantastic, and it's a great way to get inspired about eating and preparing leafy greens for your family. Ta-da! So I would just serve this by itself. It would be a fantastic side dish, or it would be something that you could pair with something else that you're preparing for dinner. I'm going to pair this with a lovely corn chowder soup tonight, and I encourage you to try this recipe. Notice how you can really enjoy leafy greens in a new way. Play around with what you add in with your massaged kale. You could do things like raisins and pine nuts. You could do avocado, tomato, and a little chipotle seasoning or some cayenne seasoning. You could really make the massaged kale taste in a variety of different ways. It's really a delicious technique, and I hope it's something that you enjoy. Thanks a lot. See you soon.